I want to talk about my favorite category of movies. It's three different categories that I feel like talking about. One of them is stop motion, and the second one is basically like anime shows or what's a better way to put it? I like when shows have a girl who's a main character, like from the age of like 13 to like 19. And I don't know what it is, but it makes the show more interesting for some reason when it's a girl main character versus a boy main character. And I think it's really just because it's like I'm so used to seeing boy or adult guy main characters that it's a little more enjoyable to see the girls. And I also think it also has to do with the fact that I'm always curious to see how is the guy going to write the girl character. I think that's also like another big reason. I'm like, I want to see how is he going to make the girl character cool and badass. Because here's kind of the issue: when women write a woman character, it's like they kind of make the character either too OP, strong, and too much of a Mary Sue type. When women make characters, or what they'll do is they'll make the woman character like really annoying for some reason, but it doesn't ever really feel like they're going through like a character arc. Like if you actually I read a lot of books, and when you read like women's books, for example, whether it's like a normal fantasy novel or just a normal novel or like kind of like an erotica, it's always like the woman character is just like this weird kind of amalgamation of being like acting like she's weak, but then acting like she's strong, which kind of just gets kind of annoying. You know, it can come off kind of wishy-washy or kind of bipolar-ish. Because it's like they'll do that, but they'll never add in any like positive traits with the woman, meaning like the woman having like at least a little bit of kindness in there, like a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Redeeming qualities when they write a character. But it's like when guys write girls, it's like they make them badass and cool, kind of mean, but also kind of they give them like a sense of like sweetness to them. You know, you want a girl to be strong, absolutely, but you don't want a Mary Sue character. You don't want a character who's a Mary Sue. You want a girl who has issues, but over time overcomes those issues and becomes a more well-rounded individual. You know, you want a character arc. You want your hero's journey, right? And sometimes women don't really know how to draw. I mean, not draw, don't know how to write women characters good. It's actually kind of weird. And then it's like sometimes when they write male characters, they write them overly feminine and sappy. It's like they write him like this very sweet guy, but it's like it doesn't. Again, it's like this thing where it's like they don't really give them like a character arc, or they make the boy character too weak, like he has so many issues. And I think the biggest issue with this when it comes to the writing is the fact that they don't actually go out and just have conversations with men to try to understand men and studying the stuff. Sometimes I think when women make characters, it's like they just make a character. But like dudes, a lot of the time dudes will go and study that stuff to create their character. So they might go out and talk to like 20 or 30 women and ask them like all their opinions on a female character. At least I've done that for my own like story. I'll ask like, what do you think I should add? And then I'll base it on how the women around me act, you know. But I also be like kind of mixing characters together. Like I'll take a character from one franchise that I think is badass, take another character from another franchise I think is badass, and kind of mold them into something, and then add my little spin to it. So it's basically like an entirely complete original character, but it's like they have personalities of other characters. Well, not personalities, but you get what I'm saying. It's like I mold them together. It's like a fusion, where I'll give them like a style of a certain character. Because there's like, you know how there's different character archetypes. You know, you have like the cool, laid back guy. You have well, we're talking about women. You have the cool, laid back women characters. You have the serious women characters. You have the women characters that are like a perverted character. It really, you could look at like how Bleach has characters. Bleach has a lot of different female characters that all have like different personalities, And then One Piece has a lot of female characters that have different personalities and act different. They don't all feel like the same character. But one of the main focuses of this video was basically me talking about my favorite kind of styles of media. And it's kind of a mix that I'm talking about because, like, for example, right now I really like stop motion, right? I like stop motion movies where it's like the movie is kind of like a kid's horror movie. I mean, it's more of like a family movie because it's like PG. It's like right on that line between being like rated G, but also being like PG-13 kind of. I kind of like those type of movies. And one of them is Coraline. The other one is Paranorman. And also Monster House is kind of in that middle gap. I kind of like those type of movies. And I wish there was more of them. And I really like for example, like I said earlier, I like when it's like the main character is like a girl because it just makes the story more interesting to see how a dude is going to write the girl character, you know? And so the categories that I'm basically talking about right now, right, is kind of like when it's a main girl character, she's like a teenage girl up to like, young adult, right? And they go to like these different worlds. They go to like a dream world, or they go to hell, or they go to this imaginary world. And examples of this would be like Wizard of Oz, Spirited Away, Alice in Wonderland, Chronicles of Narnia. His Dark Materials would be in there too. What else? There was something else I wanted to put. Oh, basically all the Studio Ghibli movies that kind of have like the spiritual thing. Because My Neighbor Totoro could kind of be put in that same category too, because it's kind of similar. It's kind of like, what is the best way to put it? It's like they're in the human world, but it's like they see like these spirits in the human world. It's kind of like a soft fantasy, where it's like, Spirited Away is more of like a kind of in the middle. It's like on the cusp of being like a deep fantasy, but then at the same time, it's kind of still grounded, because it's not like a full 5-book series. It's just one movie. But I really like that style, and Coraline is in there too. And I like it so much that I want to kind of do my own for it. And I do have my own that I made. But like at the same time, it's like I left it in storage somewhere. I still can kind of remember the story, but like I kind of got bored of it just because I couldn't think of what I really want to do. It was kind of like I kind of wanted it to be like the female main character. She like lays in this magical bed, right? And then the bed, like when she wakes up in this magical bed, it's like a really pretty bed. It's like it looks like one of them old beds that your grandma or grandpa might have. She like goes to sleep in the bed because she like lives with her uncle now, and he's like a famous story writer. And then she wakes up, and then she's in the middle of this like forest, and there's like these evil shadow creatures or whatever. It's like it started out kind of being like that, and I always get inspiration from like literally just reading the description of other books, and I'll kind of take a little bit from that by just the description and try to kind of freestyle the story, because it's more fun to freestyle it sometimes than planning it, even though sometimes I do plan it as well, but like I mostly kind of like freestyling it just to see like what you can make up on the spot. And I've always been kind of a freestyle writer. Like I like to freestyle rap, and I like to freestyle write my stories. But yeah, but I really like this category of like movies. Like it's like the style, but at the same time, there's also another style I kind of like that's kind of similar to it. Because it's like these styles are kind of like a goth. They're not all goth styles, but like Coraline, for example, would be kind of like a goth style, or like an alternative story kind of style. And Monsters House would be kind of like that too. And I feel like the type of books that are similar to that would be like a series of unfortunate events, like Lemony Snicket, and then the Spiderwick Chronicles, and then I already said Chronicles of Narnia. What else? There were some other ones that went with that. What else? There was like other stories that were similar to that. I said Spiderwick Chronicles. Yeah. Yeah, like it's just like that, like kind of weird, kind of goth-esque style. And it's kind of interesting because I remember back when I was young, I used to always see like girls reading these books all the time. Like I never seen dudes do it, but I went to a white middle school and a white elementary school, and it was like girls were always reading Lemony Snicket. They were always reading like Harry Potter, and then Coraline I think came out when I was like 16 or something. So I don't really remember girls reading that one. But yeah, but I really like that style of that. Like that's just like I love the whole stop motion style. That's kind of kind of an alternative style. Oh, these were the ones. There was freaking Nightmare Before Christmas would be considered that kind of alternative style. The Corpse Bride would be considered that alternative style. Like those would still be in the same category as like Monster House and Coraline and Paranorman. Like they're all kind of that same category. I wish we had more movies like that. I just really enjoy these stop motion movies. They're like relaxing as hell to watch, bro. Like, but like I said, I also love the style of like, like a girl main character who's like having to deal with like horror type elements in the story, and that's why I like Don DeNon so much too. The new anime that came out, I have literally all the volumes of it except for I think it's number 3 that I'm missing. And I love that too because it's like paranormal aliens and monsters. Akurum likes aliens, and then Momo, she likes paranormal like monsters and stuff. That's why I like that series so much. And they all inspire my own series, but I get so many ideas that I get like a brain overload, to be honest, because there's so much stuff that like inspires me. But I really wanted to talk about Coraline a lot because I finally watched it like all the way through. Like, because when I used to see it, I'll see it like on TV, and I'll see like the second half of it, stuff like that, versus like the whole movie. That was kind of how it was with Terminator 2, and now I have Terminator 2 on DVD. I might buy Coraline on DVD just to have a copy of it. But yeah, I really like Coraline because it's like I like well, for one, Coraline kind of reminds me of a girl that I had a crush on when I was like 15. Like she kind of looks like her a little bit, like slightly like her face kind of reminds me of her a little bit. I mean, I think she's like a month, no, she's like 2 weeks older than me or whatever, but she kind of reminds me of her a little bit, which is kind of funny. But I like Coraline because Coraline it feels like one of those little girls that you would have met when you were a little kid, when you were like 9 or 10, that kind of was like kind of douchey towards you, but you still kind of hung out with her and shit. Like she reminds me of like one of those like girls that you would have like hung out with back when you were like a kid. And it's like the story is pretty similar in a way to Spirited Away a little bit. Just because of the little, the part where it's a young girl, she's moving from where she used to live to move to a new area. And it's crazy, we never actually get to see where Chihiro moves to. I think that's the same thing in My Neighbor Totoro. I think they move into that new house, and I think it's the same thing. Maybe Studio Ghibli does have a pattern. What's his name? Miyazaki, maybe he does have a pattern of what he likes to write his movies about. But it's like, it starts out as like Coraline being a kid, and I can kind of relate to her. Like when you watch the movie, it's like she moves to these new apartments called like the Pinky Apartments. Her mom and dad are busy and kind of ignore her, and then it's like the apartment complex has like all these like weird characters. There's like these women who live basically in like the basement apartments, and they're like showgirls basically. And then there's like this like weird kind of guy who's kind of like he's like a carnival type dude, or what do they call him, a carny type dude. And he lives on like the top floor, and there's like this weird little black boy, and it's like everybody says her name wrong, and I can relate to that so much because people say my name wrong all the time, to the point where I told a woman that she said my name wrong, and she was like crashing out on me and getting mad at me. I was like, you said my name wrong. Like, why are you getting mad at me when you said my name wrong? And she ended up saying it wrong a couple of days ago too. I was just like, okay. I'm like, kind of weird, but for sure. But yeah, so I can relate to that just in general. People have been saying my name wrong since I was in like kindergarten, They call me like six different names, and then it's like I don't think they fully realize how like disrespectful that really is to say somebody's name wrong. And it's like crazy too, because people used to always tell me, "Oh, your name's kind of difficult. Do you have a nickname?" And I'm like, "No, my name is my name. Like, just say my name. It's not even hard to say." Like, when people say that, I'm just like, "You're just being a douche." My name rolls off the tongue so easily. I don't know why you guys are acting like it's like the most complicated name. Like it's like some kind of Indian name mixed with like a Japanese name mixed with a Chinese name. You know, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like an anime name or something. But anyway, I can relate to Coraline when it comes to that. But it's like I kind of like she's like a little douche, bro. Like she's kind of a douchebag. It's kind of the same thing that I dealt with when I went back and watched Kim Possible. Like I didn't realize how much Kim from Kim Possible was kind of a douche. Like as a kid, I remember her being so sweet and nice, but then when I went back and watched the show, like Kim Possible's kind of an a hole, bro. Like she's kind of douchey, bro. You know, but Ron was still the same as I remember though. But yeah, Kim Possible was kind of a douche. Kind of like Hermione too from Harry Potter. I remember her being like sweet and kind, but she's kind of a douche too. Like for she's like a know-it-all little like douchey girl who thinks she knows everything. You know, just that just kind of burns you out after a while. It's like, bruh. But you know what's kind of weird about what I just noticed too? In Kim Possible, you have Kim Possible. She's kind of douchey, acts like she knows everything. She's kind of like Hermione. And then Ron Stoppable is kind of like Ron from Harry Potter. He's kind of like a scaredy cat kind of dude. I just noticed that. There's no Harry though, but that I just kind of blew my mind. But yeah, I can relate to like Coraline when it comes to like people saying your name wrong and you getting irritated by that. You searching for friends and wanting like to really hang out with people. That was kind of my thing when I was a kid. Like I want friends now, but not as much because I realize how fake people are. But when I was a kid, I used to just kind of explore just like she did, where it's like my friends used to like be rude and disrespect me and just start a bunch of drama because guys are weird as hell and they just do a bunch of weird shit. And I used to remember when my friends would act hella weird, I would just go and explore stuff on my own. Or like if there's new kids who moved into an apartment complex I lived in, I would just hang out with them and talk to them. So I can kind of also relate to her just going and talking to all the random people in our apartment complex because I kind of also used to do that. So like we relate on those two things. And then it's like walking around in the rain too. Like I can kind of relate to that as a kid. I used to walk around in the rain a lot too. And I really like the little weird black boy. I kind of relate to him too because I was just kind of a peculiar, kind of weird black boy myself. I kind of relate to him a little bit, you know, because he's kind of like shy and kind of weird. It's weird. I really like him as a character for some reason. I don't know. He's like an enjoyable character because it's like clearly he likes Coraline, wants to hang out with her, but he's kind of just like a weird kid. But he's not like weird. Like to me, I didn't get bad vibes from him. Like he wouldn't do nothing bad to Coraline. Like he just wants a friend. He's like one of those type of weird kids. He's like the weird kid that the girls would hang out with because the guys would like bully him, kind of thing. So girls would just hang out with him because they feel sorry for him. Type. He's kind of like one of those types. You know. But yeah. So there's that. I like him as a character. What was his name? Go Away or something. Should have been born. He had like a weird name, but I like it though. I like it. Neil Gaiman was in his bag when he made Coraline. And then it's like the whole idea of Coraline finding that magical door and then going through the door to the other door. It was kind of like she was going inside of the body of a creature. Like the whole other world was basically like a giant yokai creature thing that had like its own kind of pocket dimension inside of it that basically became what you desired the most. And the other mom is basically like a spider yokai or the devil. Because even at the end of the movie, like her and Coraline make a deal because she finds the ghost kids and she's trying to like find the ghost kids' eyes and set them free so they can, so they can move on to the afterlife. which is really interesting. Like this movie has a lot of history to it. I wonder what he was inspired by. I remember him saying he was like inspired. Neil Gaiman saying he was inspired by like his daughter and stuff like that. He like wrote it for her to read, and I'm assuming his daughter was kind of peculiar and kind of like a weird kid. That's not an insult. Like weird kids are cool as hell. I was a weird kid, and he felt like she would like really enjoy that. I'll be honest. If I had like somebody who wrote a story of me and like me being kind of weird, I probably would enjoy it a lot. I'd be like, "Oh, that character is based on me." Like that would like hype me up. It is what it is. But I really like that. I like the weird people in the apartments. Like I like like the weird women who live in the basement, and then I like the like weird guy. But I like how she goes to the different world, like the other world, and then it's like, okay, she has like an other mom and an other dad, and I like how basically all her dreams and desires become reality when she goes to the other world, and I like how like the dad is all like happy, and the piano controls him, and the other mom, it's strange. The other mom was like pretty for some reason, even though she looks just like Coraline's actual mom. She's like prettier than her for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's like intentional, like to make her more what's the word I'm looking for? To make her more appealing, so Coraline would trust her more. You know, I feel like that could have been like intentional. But yeah, I like that. I like the strange cat. That's another thing that's kind of low key a trope, is the strange kitty, because there's also a strange cat in Alice in Wonderland that feels kind of like some kind of weird demon, or the cat could be like a what's the word I'm looking for, a familiar or something like that. So I really do like the whole like kind of creepy cat thing that goes in some movies. But this movie really reminded me of Monster House like a lot for some reason. Even though it kind of has more of the style of like Nightmare Before Christmas or Corpse Bride, it kind of reminds me of Monster House more. And Monster House, I don't even think is a stop motion at all. I think it's just It's just animated like weirdly to kind of look close to stop motion. But I really like it still. I still would put it in that same category of stop motion. But yeah, man, like I really like that, and then I like how it's like because in the movie she goes to the different world and she lays in her bed and she wakes up back in the real world, right? So it's like a dream like sequence, but it's like clearly she's going to a different world at the same time. So it's like two different ways of her being able to get back home. But that was clearly intentional because I think they wanted you to not really know if she really left the world or not. Is she in an endless slumber? Is she locked in that other world? Where and then even at the end of the movie, now everybody's nice to her and stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the real versions of the people that she knew. I mean, you could break down Coraline a lot and make it like almost like a purgatory story. Like when she went into that other world, did she actually die? But instead of us seeing her die, she just goes to that other world, and the other world sends her to like purgatory, and that's what that other world actually is. And now she just infinitely lives in that dream because she actually died once she went through the door. Like you can really get that deep with it, you know. I know there's some dude on YouTube who's probably already talked about this on a way deeper level than me, and made it way more complex because it's just fun to make up all these theories. But yeah, I wonder what made Neil Gaiman decide to make it like a kids horror type of movie. But it's really fun to watch. This is like really entertaining to watch. I love kid horror so much. Like I said, Monster House it's so good. I don't know what it is about these movies that are kind of on the edge of being PG-13, but almost rated G. Like you just call them family movies, basically, like The Simpsons kind of thing, that make them so good. There's a couple of other ones too. There was like, what is it, Life of Pi? And then I think the other one's called Coco. Those movies are kind of in the same category as these. I love Life of Pi. Not Life of Pi. What is that movie called? It's not Life of Pi. What is it called, bro? It has a different name, but there's like two different like movies that are based on like Mexican culture and the afterlife. I know one of them is Coco. The other one is not Life of Pi. Life of Pi is with the Indian dude with the tiger, right? I can't remember what is that movie called, bro? I can't remember. Or maybe they're both called Life of Pi. I can't remember. Y'all correct me in the comment section or whatever. But yeah. What do I feel like I'm leaving out? I really like the little song that the other dad does about Coraline. It was like a really good song. I love how the other versions of the neighbors, the apartment tenants, like I like how they're like more like magical and more whimsical. Because just like any like pretty much all these different movies where it's like a girl goes to a different world, the girl always meets like these whimsical creatures and people, and that's really what makes you really enjoy the movie is just how whimsical these characters can be and how they be singing songs and stuff. It just makes you like really, really into the movie. But I really like one of my favorite characters was the other dad. He just was kind of enjoyable to watch, you know. Now, people saying that they're scared of this movie, it's not. It's a kids' horror, so it's like it's more of like a suspenseful movie more than a actual terrifying movie. It's kind of like Goosebumps, you know. It's on that same level of terror. You know, it's like it's not super scary, but at the same time, it's like it can be a little creepy, and that's why you enjoy it. Yeah, I'll put Goosebumps in the same category. Now I kind of want to watch Goosebumps. Or Tales of the Crypt. The Haunting Hour, man. Man, I used to love them Goosebumps books back in the day, man. Hey, I love yapping. Goosebumps books were fire when I was a kid. Those were the only books where I could literally read the whole book in like an hour and a half. Because it's only like 130 pages. I remember reading the heck out of Goosebumps books. Man, I used to have a few of them. I remember there was like a box at like a book sale or something. And there was like 10 of them. And I think did I get all of them? I think I got like 3 of them or something. I think they were like $1 each or something. Like it was like a girl and they were like $1 each and I bought like 3 of them. Yeah, man. But that's what I like about Coraline. What else do I like about Coraline? Coraline's just a relatable ass character, bro. It's like at first I was like, she's kind of a douche, but then it's like I'm like I understand being irritated that you have to move, and then people say your name wrong, and then people just ignore you all the time, and then it's like they treat you like you ain't really there. Like I relate to that a lot, bro. Like it's like super relatable, and you kind of have like this fantasy of how you want stuff to go, but it doesn't go your way at all. So I can understand her going into, the whole dream world and kind of enjoying, the other world or whatever for a while. But yeah, but then it's interesting because the other mom turns out to basically, like I said, she's like a demon or a yokai or whatever you want to call her. And she's like a spider demon thing who like feeds on does she feed on the soul of kids? I mean, it's like she like kills them, I guess, and they go into that little room. She steals their eyes, gives them the button eyes, and then they go into that little room and they're like trapped in that little room. So I guess she feeds on the soul of them, I guess, right? So once she like gets them, turns them into ghosts, they kind of just stay in that little room and they can never, go on to the afterlife or whatever. Oh, and then one thing I really liked was one of the ghost kids turns out to be the little black boy's grandma's twin sister, and her twin sister like got killed like when she was a kid. I was like, that's pretty deep too. That was a nice little backstory. Honestly, it's like I would say I wish they had like made like more Coraline movies, but I'm like that would kind of ruin it. We don't need more Coraline movies. They could make like another movie with another little girl who goes through like scary shit because it's just fun to watch for some reason. Yeah, there was something I was gonna say because there was something I was watching earlier where I'm like, this should have been a TV series. What was I watching? I watched Richie Rich. I watched the Michael Jackson movie, the newer one. I watched Coraline. I'm missing something. I watched something else. What else did I watch? Damn, I can't remember. It was something that I thought should have been a TV show versus a movie because it was like really good. I can't remember. Damn. You know what's funny though is there's a lot of shows that were out back in the day that actually became movies and were cartoons and every like the 80s and the 90s I miss because it was like everything had a toy, everything had a cartoon, everything had a movie, everything had a comic book. Like Richie Rich was a comic book, a movie with Macaulay Culkin, a cartoon. There was toys. Like I missed that back in the day. It was like Terminator was a cartoon. Terminator was a freaking movie. Terminator had toys. I'm like, you're marketing Terminator for kids? Like it was like everything was marketable and everybody liked everything. And it was like even if a movie was rated R, it was like kids would watch it too. Like Terminator 2, like kids went to the movie theater with their dad and watched that too. Mortal Kombat, like kids went to the arcade and played that. And you could find like you could find like a Scorpion toy at Walmart and stuff like that back in the day. I'm like bummed that we can't do that. Like there's like a RoboCop cartoon, there was a Back to the Future cartoon, there was an MC Hammer cartoon, there was Scooby Doo Kids, that was a cartoon, there was Tom and Jerry Kid. I mean, there was so many good ass cartoons. And I just love the fact that there was a cartoon for every. There was a Pac-Man cartoon. There was an '80s Pac-Man cartoon I used to watch on Boomerang. Like there was so much shows you could watch, bro, back in the day that I just really like. And I'm kind of bummed out that now you can't find none of that in the store. Like all of that is gone. It's just like boo. Why did they get rid of arcades? I don't understand it. Okay, we still have like Dave and Buster's and like Chuck E. Cheese, but like, why did they get rid of like mall arcades? Like that was the shit. Like kids would still go there now if they had them. I don't know why they got rid of that. Because the mall arcades were fire. I don't know. That's just strange to me because they did not need to get rid of that. And, I mean, they still got like laser tag and bowling, and then they have a couple of arcade machines if you go to like a bowling alley. But malls used to literally have like arcades. Like you'd walk in the mall, turn to the right, there's literally a whole arcade. There's like 15 kids in there. That's why a lot of malls are going through foreclosure because it's like you don't have none of the fun stuff that kids like anymore. You don't have arcades. Like where I live, there's no arcades. There's no food court where I live. Like the malls where I live are trash. Like there's like nothing there. There's a laser tag place behind the mall. But nowadays, people don't be having time to do all that. You know, that's doing a lot. Versus back in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, it was like, even if you only had like 20 minutes for lunch, right? You could go to an arcade, play a quick little game, and then still get back to work. That's how that was like back in the day. It's like now you would have to like buy money, drive all the way to a bowling alley, go in there, try to run to the arcade. And it's like, bro, it's already been an hour. You're not going to get back to work. Well, back in the day, you could just walk into a mall, walk to the arcade, play you a couple of rounds of Mortal Kombat, and you got an hour long, break, from work, and you can literally eat your food, play a quick little round, and still get back to work and work the rest of your shift, your 9 to 5 or whatever. I hate that like is like kind of a gone now, you know. It's like it sucks. But it still might be around in like bigger places. I think Dallas and Houston probably still got arcades and stuff. Because Dallas and Houston got huge ass malls, 3-story malls. And Reno probably has some arcades still around there. Not Reno, Las Vegas. Because I remember walking the strip. The strip was huge. So there might be an arcade in there somewhere. Their mall is really cool looking. There's like, if you go to a certain place at their mall, it's literally like you look up, it looks like it's clouds and stuff. It looks so cool. It's like the coolest mall ever. There were so many pretty girls in Las Vegas too, man. When I went there when I was like 18. I kind of want to go back there, bro. There was heck of pretty women there, bro. There's something about big malls that you can walk around in that are just fun to go to. Like it gives you like this weird kind of sense of relaxation, enjoyment, nostalgia, and just it makes you really comfortable. I don't know. It just feels comfortable to walk around malls, man. You know, not to sound like a whiny baby, but I kind of wish I had more friends to do stuff like that with. But people just act hella weird nowadays. Like, you can't even vibe with people no more. I remember back in the day, you could vibe with people. You'd be like, hey, bro, let's go to the mall. All right, bro. Y'all go to the mall, chill, kick it, you know, have a good time. But, like, nowadays, like, people are just weird and just untrustworthy. And people be overly busy, you know. I mean, I'm overly busy. I got 2 jobs. But, like, still, it's like that one day off would just be fun. That's why I do stuff on my own, man. I've been doing stuff on my own since I was like 20. Go to the movies by yourself, walk around the mall by yourself, go to the bookstore by yourself, buy a video game by yourself. Because like I said, it's just you can't really vibe with other people no more because they just act weird, you know? It just is what it is. But, I mean, that's life, I guess. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, man, like, I don't know. There's just something fun about a story about a girl, a young girl, going to like this parallel world and like beating this big scary demon like person. It's just enjoyable, you know. I like how Narnia is like multiple different kids and multiple different stories. That makes Narnia really enjoyable to watch. And Narnia is very simple. You can turn your brain off and watch Narnia because it has like fantasy novel elements because it is a fantasy novel, but it's not like too deep where it's almost confusing. Like his Dark Materials might be confusing to somebody, you know. But like I said, I also like the fact that like there was all these strange books back when you were a kid that are considered kid fantasy, but they're kind of adult-ish. Like Lemony Snicket is kind of adult-ish and it's kind of crazy because there's literally like a part where it's like the scary I can't remember his name, but basically like you know how the kids they go to the guy's house and it's like the older guy, he like tries to like marry the girl or whatever. It's like like that's really adult stuff. It's just like it's literally talking about a predator. Like he like dude, bro is a predator. Like he's creepy and weird and he's a predator. But it's like like I said, girls used to eat that up back when I was young, bro. When I was like 13, 14, girls would be reading all those books. You would go into the library, you see girls. There was always like that little white girl with glasses, like sitting in the corner reading the book. I don't ever really remember any. Well, no, there was black girls who did that too, and Mexican girls. I remember there being this one Mexican girl who used to always have mangas, bro. I guess her like mom or dad just used to buy her hella mangas, and she used to always have a different manga. And I was always go up to her and I'd be like, "Hey," and you know I'm a name drop. Her name was Monica, bro, and I'd be like, "Hey, Monica," I'd be like, "What you reading?" And she'd be like, "Oh, I'm reading Hacked." You know, like the show Hacked, the anime that came on Adult Swim. That was one that I remember she read. I miss her too. She was cool. She was like chill. That was one of the girls who used to read. She was like ahead of her time. Like she read mangas and stuff before everybody else did. She was like ahead of her time, bro. You know, I wish we would have been like closer friends. It would have been fun just to talk to her about mangas all day, bro. Like, you know. But it is what it is, bro. But I used to have mangas back then too. You know, because I would talk to her about like Pokemon and stuff like that. I'd be like, yeah, I like Pokemon. But she was reading more advanced mangas back then than what I was reading. You know, I was reading like Pokemon, Yu Gi Oh! You know, because that was back when I was like 12 or 13. But she was like, she was the same age as me, but she was reading like I said, like Hack and stuff like that back in the day. You know, I was watching all those shows though, too, though. But yeah. Now I kind of want to talk about Adult Swim. Uh, man, now this is a decently long video. Do I want to edit it or do I want to just kind of keep it how it is? Honestly, I kind of like when it's just like just me talking and yapping. I enjoy that, bro. Hey, but like, comment, subscribe if y'all enjoy my videos because I like to make videos because they're like therapeutic, but I also want it to be kind of like you could turn it on while you're like at the gym or when you're like on your way home in your car and you're just going back to the crib. Like I like for my videos to be kind of like that, where it's just kind of like a relaxing little video you watch, and you're just kind of relating to it. So my next video after this will be, it'll be on probably Toonami stuff. Kind of like how I have that one video where I was like, do you guys remember Rave Master and Mar and what was the other one I had put on there? Flames of Recca. So this video will be the next video, not this one. The next video will be probably on something like that, because I like to talk about like multiple stuff. And recently I like made a post like on Instagram, and it got like 7,000 likes. I mean, not 7,000, 700 likes, and it was just a bunch of guys talking about old Toonami shows. So I kind of want to talk more about those, and I might do another one of those anime hot takes, because it seems like that actually gets some attention and gets some traction. So that might be another thing that I might do after this. So like, comment, subscribe, tell me what your favorite part of these videos are. Peace and blessings. Hope you guys having a good Christmas. Merry Christmas. Peace and blessings.